Hi, this is Ranjit from tech2buzz.com, and in this video I'm going to compare the new iPad 2 with the iPad 1. And this video is also useful for people who already have an iPad 1. Does an iPad 2 make a compelling upgrade? Let's find out. Okay, so first let me get to the technical specifications. On the right we have the iPad 1 and on the left we have the iPad 2. The iPad 1 sports a A4 1 GHz ARM processor and the iPad 2 has the A5 processor. Basically this is a dual core processor. So theoretically it has double the power of iPad 1. Now comparing the RAM, don't confuse it with the storage. The iPad 1 has 256 MB of RAM and the iPad 2 has 512 MB of RAM. The capacity that you can get, these both of them are the same, the 16, 32 and 64 GB. Here I have the 16 GB Wi-Fi edition. Both of them are the same. The screen size on both the iPads is the same, it's 9.7 inches and the resolution is 1024 into 768 pixels. And both the iPads sport the LED backlit display with IPS panel. So there is no change in the display. The first major difference between the iPad 2 is that as it sports a camera, a front VGA facing camera and a rear camera, it has these three new applications. Let me zoom it a bit. We have the FaceTime application by which you can do video chats, and we have the camera application by which you can take photos and also videos, and we also have the photo booth. But the camera on the iPad 2 is really average. The photographs taken are a bit grainy and the videos are also not that great. Let me show you some samples that I have taken. Hi, the footage that you're seeing right now is being recorded by the iPad 2 at 720p HD resolution. You can gauge the quality of the video recording. The audio also is being recorded directly by the iPad 2. And here are the two photographs that I have taken with the iPad 2 camera. Notice how grainy it is. Photographs taken in the natural sunlight are a bit better, but again the camera quality is very average. The next major difference is that the iPad 2 is a lot thinner than the iPad 1. It's approximately 30% thinner. I have taken some photographs to show you the thickness difference between the iPad 2 and the iPad 1, and you can clearly see that iPad 1 is considerably thinner. But still the iPad 2 manages to give us 10 hours of battery life that was also offered by the original iPad. In terms of weight, the iPad 2 is a bit lighter than the iPad 1. The iPad 2 is 601 grams and the iPad 2 was 680 grams, but you do not feel that much difference. The other thing is that the iPad 2 is a lot flatter than the iPad 1, so holding it is much more comfortable than the iPad 1. Also, when you place both the iPads on a flat surface, the iPad 1 wobbles a bit due to the bulge at the back, but the iPad 2 does not, as it has a flat surface. Both these iPads are switched off and I'm going to start them and let's see which one boots up faster. First the iPad 1 and now I'm going to switch on the iPad 2. Do notice that I've switched on the iPad 2 about 2 seconds later on. Both of them are booting. And let's see which one boots faster. So the iPad 2 boots up faster. The first test that we are going to do is open the browser and load the Engadget website on both the iPads at the same time. 1, 2 and 3. And it looks like the iPad 2, the iPad 2 is much faster in loading the website. Both of them are still loading it. iPad 2 has done, iPad 1 is still loading it. Now let us just scroll the web page and see. It's pretty smooth on the iPad. On the iPad 1 we are getting the checkerboard and it's taking time to load the page. But on the iPad 2 it's pretty smooth. And there is also no visible checkering on the iPad 2. I did find some checkering at times, but it is much better than the iPad 1. Now we are trying to load our site tech2buzz.com on both the iPad 2 and the iPad 1. Here they go. And looks like the iPad 2 is a bit faster. And the iPad 1 is also done. So iPad 2 was a second or two faster. Let's open one more link and we're going to click it at the same time. 1, 2 and 3. Again, the iPad 2 is a hair faster than the iPad 1. Next, we'll try to load a game. This is known as Angry Birds Rio. It's available for free on the App Store, and we're going to load both of them at the same time, and let's see which one fails faster. The iPad 2 has started, and it looks like the iPad 2 will load it first. The iPad 2 is done, and the iPad 1. For the last test, let's do the speed test. This is an internet speed test by speedtest.net website. As both these iPads are on the same network, let's do a speed test. First, let us check if both of them are using the same server. Yeah, it's Mumbai and Mumbai. And let's start the test. The speed test has started. And we see very interesting results. Here, the iPad 1 is better than the iPad 2. I did this test multiple times, but I was getting better speeds on the iPad 1. Very interesting. So with the iPad 1, we are getting about 7 Mbps, and with the iPad 2, about 5.7 Mbps. If you are already having an iPad 1 and you do not require the camera features, upgrading to an iPad 2 is not really worth it because it doesn't offer a really dramatically different experience from iPad 1. But if you like the FaceTime features, then iPad 2 makes sense. I hope this video helps. This is Ranjit for tech2buzz.com, and hopefully I'm going to see you in my next video.